Love is all around us, folks. In our neighborhoods, in our towns, in our states, around the world, even in space. Like in Moonshot, streaming on HBO Max from New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers, comes this tale of Walt and Sophie. Two people that want to get back with the people they love, so they have to go on a journey to Mars. And because they don't really know each other, hilarity ensues. And could a possible romance blossom? We shall see. So when I saw that this dropped on HBO Max yesterday, as of this recording, I was like, okay, I've certainly seen worse movies and I've seen worse descriptions, and I enjoyed movies like The Map of Tiny Perfect Things, and I've given out some pretty good grades this year for movies I didn't think I'd like The Atom Project and a few others, so I was like, why not give this a shot? And I was prepared to think it was decent enough, but I wasn't really, setting my expectations way too high. This does come to us from director Christopher Wittenbauer and also Max Tax with an E at the end. So I'm not sure if it's Tax A or Tax. I'm just going to go with Tax. And this is Max's feature debut. He has had no other writing credits on his IMDb page. And I want to say right now, the shock of shocks is, and maybe I'm too soon in this review to say it, this movie actually turned out to be one of the most endearing tales of love and appreciation and just overall feelings of warmth that I've had in quite a while watching movies. This just gave me the warm, cuddly feeling that I'm not used to feeling during movies. I usually tend to be pretty harsh when it comes to movies like this and just movies in general, but I do have one question before I dive too far into this review. How do you feel about air ducts? Oh wait, I'm sorry. Hey, I got a question for you. Hey, how do you feel about air ducts? There's a cat in this movie, so I'm bringing the producer on. Do you feel good about air ducts? I don't think you do. That sounds staying in the review, by the way. He's not very happy right now because I disturbed a bit of rest that he had, and I wanted to bring him on because of the warm, cuddly, endearing feeling that this cat gives me. Adopt, don't shop. You hate me. Let's get back to the review. So basically, in this review, I'm going to talk about how this movie almost brought a goddamn tear to my eye. The shocking thing is, I didn't really think that I would enjoy a romantic comedy set across the stars, but it's got a good cast to it. Walt is played by Cole Sprouse. I almost said Bell Sprouse right there, but he's not quite a Pokemon, and not yet a woman. All he needs is time, a moment that is his, and okay, that is a really weird reference. Sophie, played by Lana Condor, who was Jubilee in X-Men Apocalypse. Yeah, that movie wasn't all that good. She, however, was quite good. Zach Braff also makes a cameo in this, and there are other good characters that basically populate what turns out to be a pretty damn good, grand slam of a movie. This is a goddamn great movie and just a crowd pleaser and a lot of fun to watch. Had this been in theaters, I would have enjoyed it. I enjoyed it on HBO Max, and it was just nice to watch it in the comfort of my own home. The producer is very, very, very upset right now. But basically, Walt is not doing so well on Earth. He kind of just going through life. He's an assistant barista. There's a C-3PO-like program, AI robot thing that looks like a copier with arms, called Gary. Not the snail that, SpongeBob keeps as a pet. Not that, Gary. Didn't expect SpongeBob reference in this, did you? He has dreams of going to Mars. He's put in application after application after application to be part of the space program, and he keeps getting rejected because he's unremarkable. And there's Leon Covey, who's a multi-billionaire that has this utopia, so to speak, in this business venture on Mars. And if you have, roughly about $1 million goddamn dollars, you can find a way to get to Mars and achieve your dreams. They're not as hard as they may seem. You gotta work to get the creed on your own, you must lead. Okay. Butchered that goddamn song from Save the Last Dance. So, why is the movie endearing? The writing is really crisp. The characters have an endearing quality to them. Endearing is going to be kind of the prevalent theme here, because there's just a nice feel to this. It feels like people could actually be like this. Sure, are they kind of caricatures that you could find in other romantic comedies? Yes, but just with the right amount of twist, that looks like a different kind of twist. You get just this nice feel to it where people actually seem genuine. Walt is a bit of a bumbling fool, kind of an idiot. And he does eventually run across a girl named Ginny, who he falls for, but she goes off to Mars because he kind of convinces her through a whole bunch of stuff. Hey, you should go. We should be able to achieve our dreams. Well, she decides to. And since he found this new love that he knew from school, and he just hooked up with her on the night before she traveled, he wants to go. Enter Sophie, who has a boyfriend named Calvin, whose family is very close with her. And we find out a little bit more about that as we get into the spoilers in a little bit. There's an attachment there, and he's very dedicated to his work. He loves her, but he loves his work more. And she wants to go up there and be with him. And then through hap and circumstance, not pomp and circumstance, dig it. Wrong pomp and circumstance. My apologies. This was where Walt basically, it's kind of a bumbling fool, but he ends up convincing Sophie, hey, you should go and chase after him. And she decides to go buy a ticket because she's rich. And he basically comes up with a way to stow away on board and find a way to sneak in there and get on one of the escape pods that, I don't know how in the world he managed to do that, but he managed to get up in one of the escape pods there just in case the ship decides to have a kerfluffle, and hilarity ensues. Once she realizes that he snuck on board and he used her to basically get there, now they have to pretend to be a happy couple because the captain, who is seemingly very smart and obviously aware that this is going on, she's like, nah, it's okay. You just get your ID here. You just do this stuff. And from there, they have to pretend to be a couple while also not developing feelings for each other. But as a romantic comedy, I wonder if you can guess what would happen. So from there, Sophie and Walt have their own crises about what they should do, go after their loves, get together, what should they do, embrace different things. Sophie's got a fear of flying. Vitamin C was right all along with her song. Nobody goddamn gets that reference. Does anybody know about the singer Vitamin C? If anybody does, I hope so. She was a great singer. She didn't last very long. But she's got a fear of flying. And it could be so delish if she weren't such a bitch. Okay, that's the one lyric that anybody's going to get. Walt also has to figure out how to be, less dumb and also kind of be more endearing, not be a bumbling fool. And things get to where they just have that endearing quality to them. I can't say the word endearing enough. It's just really, really enjoyable. And obviously, everything's not perfect, and the movie has certain tropes it follows, but it has that great quality to it, that breezy quality. And sure, some characters make some decisions where you're like, okay, this is a bit convenient, this is a bit weird, but it also has a feel like you have to embrace who you are, you have to be who you are, you can't escape who you are. You have to figure out, what you can do with your life. You can't escape yourself, no matter how hard you try. And that's really what the movie's all about. Being who you are and not escaping, unable to escape yourself if you try. But also it's about love in space. So yeah, I'm going to get into spoilers right now. It's streaming on HBO Max, but feel free to check it out, especially if you have HBO Max. Otherwise, it might be hard to get it. Spoilers! Okay, so basically, in case you can't figure out with the spoilers, or, can't figure out because of a romantic comedy, Sophie wants to get back with Calvin, and her family took her in, or his family took her in, rather, after her parents died at age 14. Walt had divorced parents and basically was able to do what he wants, but he wants to find his purpose in life. He always wanted to go to Mars. He wants to go find Ginny. And then it turns out once he arrives at Mars, Ginny has found a boyfriend because she's like, well, you followed me after one day or whatever. I think I probably should have been a little bit worried, which is fair. She was hot. I don't blame him for following her. But Colt might be the standout of this. Sophie Lana is actually pretty good as well, but Colt impressed as far as like being, that kind of endearing leading guy in a romantic comedy, and he could. I don't think I've seen anything else that he's done. I would have to take a full look at his IMDb, but he's got that quality that could lead to some good stuff down the road for himself. But clearly he has to get the best, or, get more out of Sophie, who has a fear of flying. They do a spacewalk thing. They get more romantically involved, even though they don't kiss until the end of the movie. Spoiler, but it is a spoiler section. And once everything comes together on Mars, it turns out that Leon Covey, who, Zach Braff making his cameo, saw everything Walt was doing and said, it was kind of cool seeing you sneak up and do it in such a bumbling way. I just let it happen. The board wants to send you back to Earth, but I am a billionaire, a multi-billionaire, and I said no. I want to use your likeness to basically create, this ad campaign that will inspire people to want to achieve their dreams. It turns out to be corporate speak, and of course he just wants to do a bunch of stuff and get him, get him basically just sign over his likeness and get him some money and he could stay on Mars, because otherwise he'd be a prisoner and he'd be court-martialed. Also, there was a cat that snuck on one of the escape pods, and it was going to be sent back to Earth because apparently cats can't even sneak up there. That's why this remarkable thing over here that's laying down on a pillow, I can't imagine what would have happened if he would have snuck up on Mars. What would you have done? What would you have done if you snuck up on Mars? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about what you would have done had you snuck up on Mars. I don't think you would have been very happy. But basically what ends up happening is Sophie is talking to Calvin. She's close with the mother. And the mother basically says, hey, you need to go achieve your dreams. You need to go do what you want to do. Well, won't it be really awkward even if we stay friends? I think I know my son. He's already way awkward. And apparently the son was perfectly okay with it. We didn't see much of that stuff. But what we did see, can you pay attention to the movie? You didn't pay attention to any of that, did you? What we did see is we saw Walt basically being an assistant barista on Mars. He basically was the same damn thing, kind of like the Fry persona. He was a delivery boy in the past and a delivery boy in the future. In fact, there are quite a few Futurama things. We don't get a Zoidberg, we don't get a Professor Farnsworth, but we get the rich people there. We don't get Mom, getting out of the weird mechanical stuff, but what we get is we get a very sweet, endearing romance story that eventually revolves around Sophie wanting to help save Earth that is covered in garbage, and there's a giant garbage vault in the Pacific Ocean that's just floating around. And what they decide to do is she has a plan hatched to get some algae that will, some terraformed algae that if she can get the right ingredients and the right gardening and everything, she can come up with a way to eat garbage. Or, have the plants eat garbage, that is. If she ate garbage, it would be a bit weird. And Walt decides to go with her. And they have a romance and they get together and everything. And that's all it. That's it. God, you were so mad. Fine. Set you back down. Anyway, basically what happens is Sophie realizes that she really cares for Walt. And Walt really cares for her. Like, there is an endearing quality to it. Endearing kitty tail quality. But there's a lot of good stuff here. A lot of stuff you can sink your teeth into. And sure, it's a simple story, but the writing is good. The performances are good. The music choices are good. Basic or not, this is pretty goddamn good, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. And they decide to go back to Earth and come up with ways to maybe eliminate the garbage and save Earth, and then the world's all over can prosper. There's obviously more stuff. Check out the movie because I can't go over everything in the spoiler section. That's all I gotta say. So, A plus 100%. It just goddamn good, really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. Sure, I might be going a bit high on this, but I had great fun with this movie, so you can shut up. No, I'm kidding. You guys can like or dislike it as much as you want. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.